Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control 9, to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing 5, countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Check ignition 1, and may God's love be off with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope you all enjoyed that intro. Nothing better than some David Bowie on a Saturday, huh? You guys like that? I'm very excited for what I have in store for you guys today. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I try to tell anyone about anytime I get to talk to them. This is actually a snowmobile helmet. So this song actually relates to what we're going to be talking about today on today's Cassie Corner. It's going to be really fun. I think you guys will really like this topic. I've been waiting for this Cassie's Corner. I've been absolutely over the moon about this Cassie's Corner. That's silly. Welcome to Cassie's Corner. This is going to be a bit longer than 5 to 10 minutes, but I think it's worth it. It's a good topic. I really like this topic. I'm sure you guys have heard of a couple quotes from a couple spacemen. I'm sure you've heard, Buzz Aldrin, and
magnificent desolation.
I'm sure you've heard that, and I'm also sure, I know that you have heard this one.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It's a banger quote. I absolutely love that quote. But there was a third man on that mission that nobody talks about. You hear Neil Armstrong. You hear Buzz Aldrin. But who's this third guy? All right, you've definitely seen him before if you've seen this picture. But do you remember who this is? Probably not. He's not talked about in the mainstream a lot. He's called the Forgotten Astronaut. Michael Collins. I fucking love Michael Collins. Alright, I can't stress enough how much I love Michael Collins. Alright? Do you guys know Michael Collins? I just want to ask you guys. Have you guys ever heard of Michael Collins? I know you've heard of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, but have you heard of Michael Collins? Never? Okay, exactly. He's the Forgotten Astronaut. This is Apollo 11. This is the crew that, were the first men on the moon. But Michael Collins, was never on the moon at all. Alright? While they were down here, doing their little thing on the lunar module, bebopping around, collecting moon samples, doing all that, one small step for man, You've heard that before, everybody has. While they were doing all this down here, Michael Collins was up in the command module. This little rinky-dink thing, alright? There's actually another thing that comes beneath it. This is what they landed down on Earth with, but he was up in this, which was connected to another booster. And Michael Collins never touched the moon. He was circling around, doing orbits around the moon while they were down there, making history, becoming household names, while he was just in there in the background and he was actually enjoying some hot coffee. He was actually, I've watched a lot of interviews with Michael Collins, and it's actually pretty sick. He did not care at all that he was up there, right? He was content with what he was doing. I have a quote coming up. And he enjoyed coffee on the other side of the moon. How sick is that, guys? How sick is that? But yeah, while they were down here, you know, doing these cool things, you know, being in the history books, Buzz and Neil, Michael Collins was flying up above, ready to greet them when they decided to shoot back up. Now, he did a lot of like tests, but he mostly just had everything to himself. What are they gonna do? He's not gonna be directed around. He's not gonna be pushed around. He's not gonna be given orders. He's fucking Michael Collins in the command module on Apollo 11. Anyways, he would be flying around, you know, in a circle above the moon. There he goes. Out he goes. My secret terror for the last 6 months has been leaving them on the moon and returning to Earth alone. If they fail to rise from the surface or crash back into it, I'm not going to commit suicide. I'm coming home forthwith, but I will be a marked man for life. And I know it. So, he talks about this. He says if they fail to rise from the surface or crash back into it, because guess what? They actually almost ran out of fuel while they were descending onto the surface of the moon. So they could have been trapped there like forever. And I'm like they almost ran out of fuel. They got like 6 different error codes from the computer. But every single time Houston was like, "All right, it's fine." Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, they almost got stuck on the fucking moon, all right? Michael Collins would have been safe from that, and he would have had to return home by himself with them stuck on the moon. But, as we all know, they did not get stuck, you know? But this is a secret, or this is his quote about what would happen, all right? It really is fucking terrifying to think about being stuck on the moon, running out of oxygen. Horrifying. But Neil and Buzz are not the main characters of this story, all right? This is Michael Collins' story, The Forgotten Astronaut. Now, as you know, it was 1969, so they had pretty bad cameras. You know, we all know how, like, the moon landing hoax is based off of the poor cameras, you know? Or, like, the conspiracy theory, I should say. Yeah, haha, 69. But this is my favorite picture of all time, and I mean this. This is a picture that has inspired me, and it has kept me going anytime I feel lonely, I feel distraught, I feel bad about myself. I think of this picture, and I really want you guys to take this picture in as much as I do. All right? This is the picture. I want you to just take in this image. I want you guys to take in this image. Sure, it looks weird. It's technology, moon, and the earth, but just take it in, man. It's been nicknamed the loneliest picture ever taken. And I want you guys to just think about that. In this capsule is Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin about to make history, becoming the first men to ever step foot on the moon. And this is all of us. Whether you're alive or dead, or the materials that created you, and the materials that you will become, everything you have ever experienced, everybody you have ever known, everybody that you will ever know, is in this picture. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, almost 100 billion people, dead or alive. Except one. And that man is Michael Collins. And now I hope you guys can understand why this is nicknamed the loneliest picture of all time. And I want you guys to really take it in how big of an effect this picture has had on my life. Whenever I grew up as basically a social outcast, all right? I was not the best kid. I was kind of a jerk. I'm not gonna lie. Michael Collins, he takes a picture like this. And he doesn't care that he's not in this picture. He cares about the impact Apollo 11 had on the world. He took this picture selflessly, and he knew that he would not be known to the world from he would be known, but he would not be a household name as much as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are. And he was fine with it. He was fine being a complete outcast, being separated from his home, his friends, his crew members, and just being by himself, circling the moon and waiting until these guys came back up to greet him. And that's why this picture has affected me so much. Because I myself, I was an outcast, and when I saw this, I thought, man, if Michael Collins can take a picture like this and be grateful for it and understand that he may not be a household name, but he helped the greater good, fucking changed me, man. Changed me. So I just want you guys to take in this picture. Just take it in. Because this is the most gorgeous picture I've ever seen. Hands down. One of my favorite pictures ever taken. And that's why I was so excited for this Cassie's Corner. Because I could share with you guys the picture that changed my life. Space is something that has always terrified me, but I'm also drawn to it. Absolutely. It's horrifying. But shit like this, fucking awesome. Pardon my French. Everybody you have ever known, everybody who has ever lived, everybody who has ever died, is made from what is in this picture. And the one man that's not there is Michael Collins. And he doesn't care. He wanted everybody to see what he saw on that day. On the day where he knew his 2 crew members would become household names while he would just become a nobody. And it's one of the greatest acts of selflessness I will ever see. We will ever see. He actually has a quote about this picture, about his experience on the other side of the moon, while he was all alone, chilling in his capsule, knowing what he was doing is for the greater good. He says, "This venture has been structured for 3 men, and I consider my third to be as necessary as either of the other 2. I don't mean to deny a feeling of solitude. It is there, reinforced by the fact that radio contact with Earth abruptly cuts off at the instant I disappear behind the moon." Now, that's only one half of the quote. But he knows that he should be feeling alone, but he doesn't. Because he knows what he's doing is just as important as these guys. I am alone now, truly alone, and absolutely isolated from any known life. I am it. If a count were taken, the score would be 3 billion plus 2 over on the other side of the moon, and 1 plus God knows what's on this side. How fucking incredible of a quote is that? Michael Collins is an inspiration to everyone. I don't want to use this word and like take away from the absolute importance of Michael Collins, but he's underrated. I haven't heard... Whenever I talk about space with anybody, and I always bring up Michael Collins, nobody knows who Michael Collins is. You guys didn't know who Michael Collins was. But here's the picture that I think every single person on Earth should see. Because this picture has gotten me through my hardest of times. And it's because of Michael Collins. He's fucking awesome. He is. He is fucking awesome. I agree, Hugo. Bob, he absolutely is my biggest idol. Absolutely. I agree with that. Exactly, Nasli. This is the biggest act of selflessness I think I have ever seen. It is the biggest act of, not I think, it is the biggest act of selflessness I have ever seen. He took this knowing that this would inspire many. I keep reiterating this, but it's so important. He knew that he would not be a household name, and that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin will go down as the most known names possibly in history, other than, you know, religion. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin inspired the world with this act of landing on the moon. But Michael Collins inspired me. I hope he inspires you guys, and I hope he inspires any other person who sees this picture, because he deserves so much more credit. So, this was the picture that changed my life. And this is the picture that blows my mind every time I see it. It never, ever gets old. And I mean it. Never gets old. Absolutely, Nasli. He didn't do this with himself in mind. He did not do this with himself in mind. So, chat. I almost just muted my mic again. Whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling like you are not worthy, that you are not loved, that you are not important, remember this man. Remember Michael Collins. Think about Michael Collins whenever you are feeling left out. Whenever you are feeling like you don't mean anything. Because this man changed the world, and nobody knows who he is. He's still alive. He is 91 years old, and he did a talk in 2019 when he was 88 or 90 years old. Yeah, he should be 90, 91. He's funny as fuck also. Go watch some interviews when we're done with this. He's a funny motherfucker, all right? And his spirits are so high. He's absolutely loving man. The most powerful picture of all time. Sorry, I know I'm going on a rambling spree, but I seriously can't stress this enough. Michael Collins is the biggest inspiration in my life. He is the most important man in my life. And he is the least talked about person when it comes to moon missions. Nobody, you know, if they're not into space, obviously, like, if you're into space missions in Apollo, you will know him. But if you are just walking on the street and you ask a random person, if they know who Michael Collins is, they're gonna say, who the hell is that? Who's Michael Collins? But if you go, oh, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, they're gonna be, oh yeah, the guys who landed on the moon. Now this picture's fucking dope. This picture is also fucking sick. This goes hard. This is an album cover of a picture. Seriously, look at these guys. Honestly, awesome. But people will recognize Neil. People will recognize Buzz. But a lot of people don't recognize Michael Collins. Nope. Also, he's wearing an icy watch. I'm not even gonna lie. It's icy as hell. So, chat, thank you so much for joining me on this Cassie's Corner. I put a lot of effort into it, and I'm glad you guys showed out. I'm so glad that I'm able to share my life-changing picture and idol with you guys. It's a great experience that I'm able to share this with you guys. I'm so grateful. I hope that you can take away from this something that will be with you for the rest of your life. Because Michael Collins absolutely did that for me. And I just want to return the favor to all of you guys. That was Cassie's Corner number 2, The Forgotten Astronaut.